Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from Harry Potter Folklore. Now in the last video I asked you who did you think was the better wizard, Voldemort or Dumbledore? Well, your opinions were split, so I decided to make a video on it. Now, for this to work, and to be fair, I feel both wizards would need to be in their prime. So for Dumbledore, that'll be around the time of 1945, just after he defeated Gellert Grindelwald, mid-1940s anyway. And for Voldemort, it'll be around 1979, before he was told about the prophecy. So, just a little bit more information on why I have actually chosen those year dates for each wizard. Now when it comes to Dumbledore, he had just defeated Gellert Grindelwald, the darkest wizard who had ever lived at that time, while Gellert was in control of the Elder Wand. You could not have Dumbledore in a higher state of power at this time. Now for Voldemort, around this time, he was at the height of his power. He had pushed the boundaries of magic further than they had ever been pushed before. Nobody knew about the creation of his Horcruxes, and this was before the prophecy was told. Voldemort was in an immense state of prime condition at this time. So, with that being said, this battle will be judged on 3 rounds. Round 1 will be Dueling Skills, Round 2 will be Magical Knowledge, and Round 3 will be Overall Power. Now, this is just my opinion, so if you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Round 1 is Dueling Skills. So let's start with Dumbledore. Well, he was an immensely skilled duelist. He was considered a child prodigy after his first year in Hogwarts due to his level of magical skill and dueling ability. He was the victor of what was called by many the greatest duel of all time when he defeated Gellert Grindelwald while the latter wielded the Elder Wand. And he also never duelled to kill, yet still managed to defeat numerous opponents, and also very skillful in duelling with fire, which is very difficult to control and defend against. So for Dumbledore, I'm going to give a total score of 4.5 out of 5, which is near perfection for a duelist. Okay, so let's look at Voldemort. So he was considered possibly one of, if not the greatest student to ever attend Hogwarts. He was extremely aggressive and he duelled to kill and had an arrogance that he could not be defeated. He overwhelmed opponents with a thorough knowledge of dark magic, set of which no other could match. He could also switch duelling styles in an instant and could defend as strong as he could attack. And he also used fire in duels and could conjure fiend fire without a wand. So, based on those credentials alone, my total score for Voldemort would be 5 out of 5, the maximum score for the Dark Lord. That makes Voldemort the winner of round 1. Okay, so next we are on to round 2. Let's see which wizard has the best magical knowledge. His knowledge of the dark arts was masterful, and he was considered the most powerful practitioner of dark arts the world has ever seen. Such was his knowledge, he created curses, jinxes and hexes so powerful that not even Dumbledore himself could reverse them, like the curse on the defense against the dark arts position and the curse placed on the Gaunt family ring. He had the knowledge on how to conserve dark energy within him to overwhelm his opponents. And he's thought to have created the Emerald Potion and also the potion for the rudimentary body. But Voldemort's extensive magical knowledge did have a certain flaw, and that flaw was that he overlooked other types of magic, specifically the magical power of love, and love being something of which he did not know of, but still considered it obsolete anyway, and this dismissal of this great power would lead to his first downfall. So, even though Voldemort's magical knowledge is very strong, the fact that he overlooked other types of magic, for me, is still a major flaw, and for that reason I've got to take a full mark off, and I'm going to score him a total score of 4 out of 5. Now, Dumbledore had a fantastic aspect and understanding of all types of magic, along with the strength and threats they both pose. He created the Deluminator, 12 known uses for Dragon's Blood, and a personal communication system through using one's Patronus. He had an incredible knowledge of how to manipulate magical fire, and his use of it as a weapon was almost unrivaled in such a feat. It was his use of Firestorm that held back the army of Inferi in Voldemort's cave, protecting him and Harry. Dumbledore struggled to overcome the curse from the Gaunt family ring. Ultimately, it would cost him his life, although using his certain death to his advantage, and also he couldn't lift the curse on the defence against the dark arts position. He understood the immense power that the magic of love possessed, something that gave him a great advantage over Voldemort especially. So, with that being said, my total score for Dumbledore in round 2 on magical knowledge will be 4.5 out of 5. So, that score for Dumbledore in turn makes him the winner of round 2. With both wizards scoring 1 point each, it's now time for the final round, and that will be on overall power. So let's look at Voldemort's overall power. Well, as we all know, he was immensely powerful, and he pushed the boundaries of magic to limits never before reached. He was also the first wizard to create more than one Horcrux. He dedicated himself to becoming the greatest and most powerful wizard of all time, and when he was at full power in the First Wizarding War, he most definitely was. Dumbledore even admitted that with Voldemort at full power, even he may not be powerful enough to stop him, but for the Elder Wand. But it's not really Voldemort's strengths that I have to question, because they cannot be compared to and they cannot be matched, and if they were, it would be Dumbledore who would become closest. It's Voldemort's vulnerability and weakness that would be his ultimate downfall, and that is his lack of understanding at just how powerful the magic of love really is. And with that being said, my total score for Voldemort for overall power is going to be 4.5 out of 5. Now, Dumbledore mastered the Elder Wand, which gave him an inner confidence as his power matched the power of the wand. And his advantage over Voldemort was that the Dark Lord feared Dumbledore was a superior wizard due to his widely known achievements and displays of power. He also understood the power of love, the most powerful magic of all. He managed to defeat the darkest wizard of the time, outlasting him in a duel that continued for hours with, most importantly, an inferior wand. And he also went undefeated and was never disarmed in over 45 years. So my total score for Albus Dumbledore when it comes to overall power is 5 out of 5. Which in turn makes Dumbledore the winner of round 3. And this gives Dumbledore the overall victory in this battle of two wizards, 2-1. Dumbledore is the winner. You might notice that I do mention the power of love quite a lot throughout this video, and that's because in order to become the greatest wizard of all time, you must understand the greatest power of all time. And that is something that Voldemort just could not seem to grasp. So guys, that is it for today, and my question for you is, do you agree with this video? Do you agree Dumbledore is the most powerful wizard? Let me know in the comments below. Please keep your comments respectful, and please support me on Patreon for $1 a month and subscribe.